Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and tonight's going to be kind of a spooky one.
I don't know if I would call that spooky. I'm going to be honest.
For those of you with a fear of space, you best leave now.
Or monsters that can't stop drooling.
Honestly,
that are also in space.
If you're afraid of monsters in space, or like, just don't even leave. It's just going to be me roasting a movie for as long as they let me to. That's all it's going to be.
What?
All right. Are you guys...
In case you guys can't tell, Dylan's a little heartbroken right now.
I don't think he anticipated me to not like it that much.
Bitch.
I didn't really dislike it either. But we watched Alien. And
Yes.
I don't know. I wasn't a really big fan.
It was the characters.
I was so many things.
Yeah.
It was in my notes. God, my notes. I've already been over that. My notes are hilarious.
Okay,
right?
but before we get...
One second, but I was saying, in my notes, I did say a couple of things that are good about it. And one thing is, like, the set designs are amazing, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's a well-made movie for its time, for sure.
The Nostromo is a beautiful hunk of junk.
There's so much that I just couldn't like about it. For the reasons I mentioned that I don't like film already.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like being able to see what's coming next. Now, I'll admit, a couple of times in my notes, I'm like, this is what happened, this is what's going to happen, and I was kind of wrong here and there, but generally, it was one of those movies where I don't know, I couldn't find it really that interesting.
Good synopsis, but just before we get really deep into it, because I think Ethan has a lot that he wants to talk about.
I mean,
I must say, for the first time on this podcast, and we can put this on the record, this is one of the first movies that we have reviewed or done a podcast on that I can't say that. Regardless, one of the few, I can't say it's the first time probably, that I've seen this movie. I want to say there's one or two other movies that I've seen before, now that I think about it, like the backlog. Regardless, this is one that I've seen a long time ago, and Dylan showed it to me one night.
In the dark.
In the dark.
It was a perfect setting.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it the first time. Now seeing it the second time around, like almost like a year, well, actually, no, probably like 2 or 3 years later.
More than
it's been a while, because I remember whenever you guys watched it.
Yeah.
I remember you guys the next day saying that you watched it the previous night.
Yeah.
So it was before my trips. It's been a few years.
Even though it's been a long gap, I still remember what happened primarily in the movie. It actually moved a little bit quicker than I felt like it did, but that also may be just...
Really? I felt like it was actually paced really well.
Well, again...
It felt long, but in a good way.
As compared to my first sighting, because I remember the first time I watched it, I thought it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And then I watched it this time, and I was like, there was just sometimes like I was watching scenes happening, and I was like, oh, we're already here yet? Like, I thought that it was going to happen like later.
We're already here yet.
We're already... You know what I mean. Gosh dang it.
Do I? Here yet.
We are already here now.
Yet we're
I didn't think
here.
we were gonna be this far yet. You know, however you want me to say that properly. I'm sorry.
Freaking nerd pants.
Fix your words.
Yes. So, needless to say, seeing it for the second time around, I was kind of like looking into more things than I think I did last time from like a first viewing. You know, you just watch it at like surface level sometimes.
Yeah.
But then the second time around, or like even the third or fourth, you kind of look for like those little things you kind of look out for. Yeah. And now looking at some of it, I do see some of like the character issues that probably Ethan's going to bring up and some other things.
I don't have character issues. There's a lot of general stuff I just didn't really like about it. That's all.
But I will say, like we talked about before, some of these older movies, especially like early 80s, even probably some late 80s, practical effects. Everything was made. Nothing there that you saw was like digital, or at least it didn't feel like it, because I don't think there was.
No.
It's in 79. It was like the door mechanism to just the wall in the background to like just, you know, the miniatures of like the actual ship flying through space and the scale of it all. It just was like...
I wonder if they have a model of it.
Probably so.
They have to.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's all like those little things like that make up the movie. Lighting choices and like, again, like the lenses on certain things that like kind of distort it, make it weird and stuff. And like we've talked about before, I think we talked about, not on the record, just you and I one afternoon talking about Alien before, is like the lack of detail of the monster. not like it's just obscure altogether.
It's
but
very detailed.
Yeah, well, but I'm talking about like you don't just see it like boom, broad daylight.
Right.
It's not just like out there for everyone to see. It's kind of like part of it, or like a flash, or like a I gotcha kind of moment. You're like, oh, like what is this?
Yeah, you never really know what like.
Yeah, you don't know the full scope
is going
of it.
on with it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's like the kind of just enough to make you scared of it, but not enough to where it's like
it feels. I don't know.
It's
not scary if you see too much of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, you just see it in broad daylight. It's just kind of chilling around. You're like, oh, it just kind of normalizes it.
That is a xenomorph.
Exactly. So
and all of its 3 mouths,
4 sets of teeth looking ass,
6 million
appendages. Looking
big looking head.
Yeah, he's freaking no eye head ass looking.
It's the only creature you could appropriately apply the insult dickhead to.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, honestly.
I
banana face.
I really enjoyed it like just a second time around.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think we've talked about it. We've watched Aliens, sorry. I was going to say Alien 2, but that's not the correct terminology.
Yeah, same thing.
But and I think
Alien,
we talked
but with an S.
Alien, but more.
I thought one was bad.
Yeah, there's more. I think we talked about it when we watched Aliens, about some of the story elements behind it, and like this second time watching it through, kind of knowing some of that stuff, like looking out for certain things.
Yeah,
and especially how Ash, that was the doctor guy, right?
Yeah, the android.
Watching it the first time, you're just like, oh, he's kind of sketchy.
He's just kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, but then now looking back on it, I was like, there's like a certain few dialogue choices that are said, and I was like, oh, buddy, that's good.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that the story would have been like really good, but probably one of the things that I like
story
could have liked more was the fact that like I wasn't able to pick up any of the story.
Yes.
It's probably one of the reasons why I didn't like it that much.
Yes.
Because it seemed like I don't like horror thriller movies, and that's
Yeah.
just what this seemed. It seemed like a very casual horror thriller movie, and there's so much story underneath all of it, but I didn't get any of that. And so I was just like, jump scare. That's kind of what it felt like to me.
I will say
the best way I can describe why I
with
didn't
most
like it
confidence that the story is hidden in there. Like if you didn't know already, it kind of is like I shouldn't say the story.
There's not too much to it.
Yeah.
You know, just shady government corporation fucking wanting to get their hands on a fresh alien specimen.
And the good thing is they don't really like.
And they use a fucking mining creek.
Yeah. It's like
with 7 people on it. I'll get to that whenever it's my turn.
It's the same thing with the monster that they do with like the background story. It's like they give you just enough, like especially once you get like that 3/4 mark of the movie, that like a big answer is hit. It's like you were here for one purpose, and that's it, and you are expendable.
We don't even need you.
And it's at that point you're like, oh, so that's what the story is. There's a lot more beneath the surface that we're not knowing
about
about.
The alien.
Exactly. But of course,
I mean, the name of the movie kind of.
Shut.
I hate you.
You bet you do.
I'm just kidding. You're one of my favorite people.
Nice.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Open your heart up, Ethan.
Read us your notes.
Yeah.
Tell me.
They've been wanting me to read off my notes because they get
Speak your mind about this old gym.
So my first note is just about those 2 characters that wanted more shares.
Oh yeah.
And I literally my first note is
Parker and Brett.
Yeah, the 2 guys that just wanted more shares. My first note is I just called them annoying because they were so annoying, and they were like, oh man. And then of course I mentioned as well, they're smoking on a ship. Like this seems like a stupid idea as well, but again, we're gonna move that one.
Possible flammable materials.
Possible,
explosive,
definite, right?
even.
You like smoking on a, and then later on there's an open flame too, and that was one of, I threw logic out the window because it was the 80s. I was like, there's an open flamethrower here. Never mind, whatever.
We're in a semi-thriller action movie.
I stopped paying attention to that one, and I should have probably earlier than I did, but it's fine. And then there's the fact that like when you're looking at the scope of this ship, which I mentioned already, there's this ship is, as I said, twice the size of New Hampshire with only 7 people on it. And then parentheses I put, oh, look at that, and a cat. Low-key hope it dies, though. That's what I put in my notes. Spoiler warning, it didn't. And then, okay, so then they go on the the planet, and then he gets the face hugger on him. So then, like, they're all, doing their thing on him and all that.
Find this big-ass derelict fucking wishbone.
Honestly, in spite of all the stuff I also didn't like about that, where it's just amusing, people weren't wearing any protective equipment. They had an O2 mask on for no reason. Like, yeah, that's gonna help you out. Like all that random stuff. That's amusing, but I didn't really care because it's not like that's not a complaint on the movie at all. I like finding funny medical things in movies because it's just ridiculous. So I was like, whatever. But then the one thing that I couldn't let pass is whenever he's like eating their food and then he starts getting ready to like for the chest burster to do its thing where it bursts from the chest. He's like having he starts having like he starts having this like seizure-like activity, so everyone's just trying to shove shit in his mouth. and I'm like,
you didn't finish eating your
food. I'm like, guys, what are you doing? Why are you trying to shove the spoon in his mouth? And he was
choking. Like, we gotta shove more down and it'll get rid of the macaw.
And then Ian was like, oh, well, maybe it's because they thought he was having a seizure. They wanted to bite on something. And I was like, that still makes literally no sense. Why is it like, oh God, he's in pain. He's moving. Quick, shove the spoon in his mouth. That was like, that of all the things, I couldn't let that one sit by. I was like, guys, but like, all the medical things I thought were funny, I was like, that's ridiculous.
But you also have to think, like,
maybe they were just trying to get him to gag.
That doesn't make any. Even in the 80s, that makes no sense.
I want you to know that even though I don't know a lot about seizures, the one thing I do know, and I learned this, I was told this by people. Like within my lifetime,
I heard from my grandpa's cousin.
Probably. Wait, I gotta hear this because it's 10 years ago. Ridiculous.
It's talking about seizures and how they're going to swallow their tongue.
It's impossible.
Hold on to that. I know. It's all that nonsense. Like you have to hold their tongue for them, or like
nope, don't do that. Don't put your hand.
I know, and that's what I was saying. It's like again, you have to think if that was like early 2000s logic. Just think about 1979.
Well, that's actually what I was saying. Is like for people who are doing filmmaking, who know literally anything about what they're doing in their film, they should at least know that like that's not a thing, right? It's not like. The only thing that you can do for someone actively seizing without medication to stop the seizure is hold their head still so they don't bang their head on the floor. Yeah. They're gonna bite.
They're banging him around like a
and they're
rag
throwing
doll.
his ass around. Also, don't just for if you guys know someone's having a seizure, don't try and restrain their hands. They don't know what's going on. They will break their own arm. They will. Yeah. Just try and hold their head so it doesn't hit the floor. That's it. They are going to bite their own tongue. They're gonna wake up and have blood in their mouth. That's the way it happens, right? So I was like, what are they trying to do? What, trying to put crap in his mouth? What are they doing, right? And I was like, even for like 80s logic, as far as I'm aware, you still didn't at no point did you put something in someone's mouth.
They just didn't want his food to go to waste.
I just thought that was amusing. That was amusing, and that was it. And then, okay, this next one was this is where it started going down, where I was like,
uh-oh.
I was like, what is going on at this point? Okay. Those things were kind of funny, but like no big deal. But then everyone's like, oh man, there's an alien on the ship, so we're gonna have groups of 3, okay?
Not just
that.
Not one big group, 2 groups.
You know what? Honestly, I'm okay with that. 2 groups of 3, fine. Because a group of 6 is kind of big. 2 groups of 3 will cover a little bit more ground. That's fine. Yeah, and then they're like, oh no, you should have caught the cat. Now the cat's gonna pick up on the radar again. I'm like, okay, first off, I wouldn't have cared. Yes, I.
3 is a crowd. Yeah, 6 is a community.
More than handfuls of waste.
6 is a bit of a gaggle. Yeah, more than handfuls of waste, in the words of...
hey. Yeah,
that's funny.
Just keep it.
So they're in these groups of 3, and I'm like, that's fine. Whatever. Like, hey, okay,
man,
everyone's...
good over there?
He's laughing still.
I'm sorry.
So then oh God, it's the alien, so they catch a cat. And they're like,
the alien was a cat.
And then they're like, so then they're like, now you have to go and get the cat because it's going to pick up on a radar again. First off,
yes,
I get what they're saying about picking up the cat,
right?
Because it's going to show up on the radar again.
I still think together.
Okay, not even that. You're going way far. Let me finish. They're going way far ahead of me. It's not. They're like, we should go pick up the cat. I get what they're saying because they don't want to get on the radar again, but also that's totally unnecessary. If it picks up on the radar again, like whatever. Why are you going to go chase this cat whenever there's a demon snake alien trying to kill your ass. Whatever. Fine, let's chase the cat. And then they're like, okay, we're going to stay in groups of 3. Now you go on your own. And I put in there, sent old Hat Boy on his own to find the cat, in all caps, when there's a demon snake. It says, spoiler warning, he dies, LMAO.
Demon snake, I love it.
And then my next one is, okay, this is basically just a movie about how to do everything wrong. Because I was like, they have poor radio communication, because every time something changes in that guy's condition, they're like, better if you just see it for yourself. Hey, we need you guys to come to the med bay. Why? Better if you see yourself. That's not how this works. You have to give something. That's how radio communication.
I need a reason.
Hey, you need to come to the med bay. Why? He woke up, but I need you to see for yourself. Literally something. It's not how radio communication works. You never split the party and just go one on your. They just do everything wrong. Yeah. That's another thing. I was like, there's like, oh God, there's just, I don't know why, but like nothing was done right.
But at least they did everything wrong, and they all died because of it. So it's not like it's not like they did. It's not like they.
The only one that tried doing things right. Ended up alive.
But look still, at that. By the way, did the most things wrong, and plot armored her way through not dying. Because at least I'll read you number 7 on here.
Hold on.
It's a long one about her.
What was?
I liked her character. I really did like her character.
What did we learn? What do we learn from the watching of this movie? Is it do things right and you'll probably survive. Be an idiot, you're going to get killed by a demon lizard.
You're stupid.
Yeah, demon snake, thank you very much. So, yeah, I said basically just a movie about how to do everything wrong. And then the next line said, good set design, though. Because I really enjoyed it.
Oh, my God.
So then this is about Ash, the girl I was just saying. I liked her character a lot, but she says, let's go in pairs, proceeds to not go in pairs, nearly dies to Robo Ash or whatever his name was, and then doesn't die, because again, this must be the plot armor or something, so then later is found on her own again, exploring. She's the only one who's been logical this whole time, and then 3 separate occasions is like, yeah, let's go together, proceeds to go out on her own.
Bouts and
I was like,
lapse in judgment.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Off of that fucking cat.
Off that dumbass cat, too, that, by the way,
goes off on
doesn't die.
Jones.
So.
Jones.
Jason.
Jones.
There's a point where that's like, there's a whole, you could tell she's getting scared. And it's
I read the next line.
Jones?
Yeah.
What's that?
I read my next. Are you ready?
Yeah, it was basically, all I was saying was like, there's a hot minute where there's one scene where she's walking around going, Jones?
Freaking Jones.
What's going on here?
So
screw the cat, get out of there.
My next line I wrote right before I said out loud what I said to you. Yeah. Whenever you said, finally you got it, I said, is short hair really going to cry this whole movie? And then I tacked on in parentheses after it, LMAO, she dead in view.
Oh my God. Dude, fucking Lambert is easily one of the most annoying characters in this movie.
Like,
I hate her so much, and she gets what she deserves.
Easily the most annoying. But all that to say, I didn't dislike the movie as a whole. I had plenty of roasts.
Didn't they? What is it? Didn't they insinuate that she got like?
Oh yeah, that was whenever I said I said that name.
Right? She got sodomized, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw it grabbing up her leg, and I was like, all right. I don't like this.
Tail.
Yeah. So, as much as I have a lot of
that
roasts,
scorpion tail was not moving fast.
Good point.
It did sound like a slow and painful death. To be honest,
I didn't really dislike it though. Like. I already knew going into it, which is, I think this is why I never really attempted to watch it or anything like that. I knew going into it that it wasn't getting my thing, just because I'm not really into the horror movie, scary movie, thriller kind of stuff. Yeah. And watching it, it was no shocker that movies that are like this, that are thrillers and stuff like that, I have no short time in picking them apart, just because it's they're more designed to be a thriller and all that, not for someone to watch and pick apart like that. So it just gets funnier when you do it. And I think it's why I like comedies and stuff, because I love being able to just laugh at stuff. So I didn't really dislike it, but it's definitely not on my list of movies that I also really enjoy.
Yeah. This one, oh man, it was a real slow burn for me because I saw it when I was young.
I imagine it's better the younger you are. The more scary it is and all that. Like
my imagination ran away with it and was like, I don't think I like space anymore.
Right.
I want to go there.
Yeah. The thing that got me about it was like when I start to think about it is like the putting yourself in that scenario. It's like you can't really
I'd seize up and fucking die instantly.
You can't.
All right, short hair.
So you can't.
I do that shit with a snake, man.
You can't
snake starts slithering at me. I'm.
You can't like physically attack it because it's like you pierce its skin, it's gonna get acid everywhere.
It's tough.
And at first, I was like, acid, who cares, whatever. But then like the what? Well, no, I care. I'm talking about like on an Earth perspective. Like you have acid and you burn. I was like, okay, cool, but you can still kill it. But then when I'm thinking about it, they obviously say it smack dab when it's happening,
like 8 times. Yeah,
they're like, oh, it's gonna just bust through the hole, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. From a sealed,
from a heathen tube in the sky. I see. It makes sense.
This will now cause a very sharp lack of oxygen.
Yes,
yes.
Unchecked.
As if you guys just lighting multiple flames isn't doing the same thing. But I'll let that slide.
Man.
There are so many times in the movie where I mentioned the fact that it was, I think at one point I said it was the size of North Korea. I said it was twice the size of New Hampshire. I said the size of New Jersey at one point. I've mentioned it 1,000 times. This is a giant ship. And they're just like, they have nowhere to hide. They're just running around. They're in the vents now.
The thing is, I think of it like a tow truck.
Mm-hmm.
The ship that they land on the planet with is the ship. The rest of what they're towing is the minerals and gases that they mine.
You should definitely hide the minerals then, dude. Crave that mineral, dude. Just try to not die. Like,
if only.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I was like, this is
still
such
a pretty big ship, but they sealed off like several sections.
This is such a huge ship. I was like, why is there only 7 people on this ship? That was like the first question I had. Is I was like, this ship is the size of Louisiana, and there's 7 people on it right now, and a cat. Freaking cat doesn't die though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
one person lives somehow.
My first watching of it, I remember getting pretty hyped up about because I went into it knowing nothing the first time I watched it.
Yeah, same.
Didn't even know what a xenomorph was.
That scene that happens right before the self-destruction thing, where she hops in the shuttle and goes away. That point where like it's just convoluted enough that you don't fully understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But like, after you watch, because again, I had the same thing that he was saying. She like self-destructs, runs to the shuttle, and then like freaks out.
That wasn't
and then it's like
aliens there.
Yeah, but that's so I didn't put two
that's the other
together.
Movie. This is Alien there. Got him.
My God. But anyways, is that she's like running there and then like freaks out for a second and like runs back. But I was like, but why not? Like in the moment, I didn't understand.
She activates self-destruct, and then 5 minutes later, whenever she can no longer deactivate it, tries to deactivate it. And it doesn't really, it doesn't explain it, because obviously it wouldn't, but also like, you can't really see what's going on. She tries to deactivate it because she tried to self-destruct, go to the escape pod, and then leave, but then she got to the escape pod, saw Alien, said, and then turned around to deactivate it, and then couldn't deactivate it.
Yeah, because she was too late.
But it was really hard to see that in the heat of the moment, because there was literally just, the camera shots were just steam.
It was, steam and strobe lights.
But I also, didn't dislike the camera shots, because they were intense, and I liked it. But it was straight up
dark.
It was just, it was just like
scenes.
steam, though.
We'll just take a little detour for a second. The first few shots of the movie were like, there's like a doorway that opens up and it's just light flooding in, like blue light on like a backdrop area.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like there's so many shots of like just open light and like shadowy figures and stuff, and it's just so well shot. But anyways, going back to that scene, so in the moment, I was like, okay, I'm kind of keeping up, kind of understanding, and again, we're getting real close to this impending doom, and so like she runs into the shuttle and like gets out of there. I'm like, hell yeah, get out of there. And then I didn't think in my small brain of like of course the alien could probably just like hop on board the shuttle.
The funniest part to me is what like every time
is when the alien high fives her.
No. It's when she like runs into the shuttle and you get that first person perspective and she like runs right by the fucking alien.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. Yeah.
It's
whenever he's sleeping in the fucking gutter.
wow.
You just don't even. It's
Didn't
in the frame.
notice
You
it.
just didn't even see it. That's
Mhm.
funny because I sure as hell didn't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting. That's cool, and that's good. Like, that's like good little Easter egg type
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love that.
It's well made
But-
because if you don't notice it naturally, she wouldn't. It's very.
Yeah, because I sure as hell didn't notice it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so like that. But again, like most movies do, and like Ethan's talked about before, there's that kind of like I know where this is going sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's that moment where she's like driving off and the ship blows up 3 times or
Right,
whatever.
yeah. 3 times.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, man, really coming back for seconds
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
thirds. Okay,
Yeah.
that was fun.
Well, you're being extra
It
today,
was,
huh?
it was a good shot, yeah. But I was like,
Yeah.
you're still blowing up, huh?
But then
Big ship.
the
Good point. Big ship.
but there's a point where
Size of New
she
Hampshire.
sits back and gets a little cocky. It's like I got you.
Yeah,
Gosh,
that-
you
that-
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
As if I didn't already say, like, because I said again out loud, didn't write it in my notes, but I said out loud, I was like, cool, well, I know that, like,
If it had
As
ended
I
there, that
said-
would have been like very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
but also, like, I don't know, I think it actually would have been kind of fitting because it was like an unkillable beast, and then,
Yeah.
like, that three explosions, that would have
That's
felt.
a surefire way.
It would have felt good because then think about it, her whole crew freaking died, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good ending. But at the same time, I'm sitting back and I'm like, yes, she's laying back. If I didn't already think, oh yeah, but the alien's in the shuttle with you, having not seen it in the shuttle already, if I didn't already think that, whenever she was like, "Gotcha, bitch," I was like, okay, so the alien's still in the shuttle
No,
with her.
you
That's
didn't.
yeah. I was like, it's
I-
it's one of those
whenever
things
I-
where like I can see where this is going, but then they hammer it home with that, and I was like, oh cool, so the alien's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
So this point, I'm just sitting here like, all right, when's that alien gonna pop out? And then
And-
he tries to
and
high
see,
five her, and then
in my first
Hey, we
he's like,
survived.
hey, what up? And
we
you're like,
made it. Surprise! Oh crap! Sorry.
oh, I forgot you don't like me
Yeah.
or something.
My first time watching it,
Oh, that's right. I have to kill you.
I didn't have that mindset the first time, but I definitely like after this scene kind of like
You
if it
were
was like
in for the ride.
yes,
You didn't like even try to make any conclusions. I didn't think.
no, because I was just my first time watching it and I wanted to go in there with just a blank slate. I didn't ask any questions and I enjoyed it that way. Now that I watched, I could see like if you kind of went in with like a preconceived idea, how it could kind of ruin it.
Yeah.
But like my first viewing of it was really cool. Dark room,
Yeah,
small
Oh,
screen
that
for
was really
myself.
cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. But in that moment, I was like, I could see how where I felt that kind of like plot twist happen was after this scene goes on a little too long.
yeah.
There's a point, which again, obviously,
Like this
there's
feels
a
like it
reason
should
why.
be ending.
Yeah,
No, I
it's
think
like if
the
there was
catch
a-
is it went on a little bit too long without it feeling like they were trying to conclude it.
Yeah.
If it went on for a little bit too long and she wasn't just petting the cat and it went on for a little bit too
Like,
long,
okay,
but it
something's amiss
seemed like
here.
she was trying to talk about like captain's log, like all the crew's
Yeah.
dead.
Mhm.
If it went on for a little bit too long but seemed like they were concluding, it would have fit a little bit better.
Yeah.
And honestly would have probably thrown me off. But whenever she was like, "Gotcha," I was like, "No, you didn't. That's you gave it away with that one."
You're a liar.
Right? Yeah.
But it's also like again, there was no real music. There was no real indicators on the
Just a
sub
little
level.
bit.
Well, yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's bad.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the ending, but that was for me on my first viewing of it. I was like, I felt good. I was like, haha, I got it. And I was like, I kind of sat back for a second as well. And I was like, dang, this has been
And
a
then
while.
no.
I was like, it's been a wild ride. But then there was a point, like I said, there's that point where I was like,
This ride's not
something
over.
seems suspicious here.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the I got you.
Mhm.
You know the
and then she hides in a closet.
yeah.
I think easily one of my favorite aspects of this movie is the music.
Yes.
The score is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's so good.
The big spook.
For me, it's so good that you kind of forget it's there
Yeah.
because it fits so well. It plays, for me at least, just watching it, it feels natural and it flows well enough. Like it doesn't feel jarring. So it's hard to like to notice when it's not there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
moments where it's quiet and you're like, oh, this feels weird, but you don't know why. You know, like subconsciously. But you know,
The opening title sequence is always going to be one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
Just
I
the letters
did.
slowly fading in
Yeah.
with that fucking eerie ambience.
yeah, yeah, so good.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I went into it not even like just to show you how little I knew what I was getting myself into. Whenever that guy had the freaking thing on his face, I was like, "Oh, that's this movie." I was like, wasn't that a different series, different movie?
You're
no.
like, wait, am I playing Half-Life or am I watching
No,
Alien?
straight. I was like, wait, that's this. Wait, okay, that's this. And then whenever I was like, and then I was like, I thought an alien something came out of his chest or something. Oh, I must be wrong. It's a face thing. And then later on, whenever they're trying to like shove a spoon down his throat, I'm like, oh wait, no, something does. So they're
Get
both
in there, scoop it out.
right. Yeah, and I was like, oh, they do both. Oh, okay.
Scoop it out.
Scoop out the accursed one.
Big fucking bite, dude. What the fuck did you eat?
Right. And so I was like, oh man, like.
Wow.
Oh, so it also comes out of the... All right.
Okay,
I thought that was funny whenever you were like, oh, it's just a little snake. I was like, no, it's not, man. That thing's going to grow to the
Hell
size
nah.
of freaking Texas
Yeah.
in the next 20 minutes. And it did.
Yeah. So just a little backstory in case you don't know, obviously, is that I think there's like an alien or a queen of sorts that lays eggs, which has the face suckers in the eggs. They jump out, and then basically they jump on people's faces.
It was oxygen, but it was laying eggs in his tummy or something.
But that
right?
was what I was saying. Yeah, so that oxygen was the robo-android guy's way of bluffing, saying, like, it's oxygen. He's going to be all right. But I think he knew the whole time that he was like, yeah, he's basically getting loaded up with that.
He's
alien
getting egged
good.
up. He's getting egged
He's
up.
getting
boy.
egged up. But of course, I think that's how the alien's born, is that like second generation, right? Is that how it kind of works? Is like by incubating inside a person's body or something like that?
Yes.
It's a parasite.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a neat.
And then an alien's born and, you know.
And then kills 6 people on a ship. But
Yeah,
not
and
the
then-
cat. Not the cat. Why'd you spare the cat like twice, dude? Come on.
When a face hugger and
Face.
Actually, there's no mutual love there. When a face hugger loves a human very
When a face
much.
hugger and a face meet. That's it. That's when they meet.
It shows a lot of stuff down his
Behold,
throat.
of a alien.
Ta-da.
Behold, a man, featherless body.
We probably should have said this at the top of the episode. This is probably going to be kind of a gross one.
I mean,
This is a really...
I mean, we did say Alien at the top of it. If people know anything about Alien, they probably know
I guess
it's
you're right.
only a bit
Yeah.
gross.
Who does
viewer discretion is
wait.
advised.
Yeah, this guy apparently, because I was like, wait, facehuggers? That's in this one? Wait, well, I thought it was chest, it bursted out of his chest. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I was right.
Oh, wait, so it's bursting chest and hugging faces?
Wait,
Gosh.
they land the ship? I didn't know they landed the ship in this series. Do they stay landed? Oh God, they're in space again. No lie, I thought all these things at some point in the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know the first thing about it. I go into movies blind. That's the whole point. That's my plan.
Man.
I go into movies without knowing jack about them.
Well,
The next movie that was supposed to be on our list was the Dead Poet Society, and I've literally never heard of that movie before they mentioned it.
Collection of dead men
yes.
So
who speak fancy.
I've since heard of
We
it
thought-
again, but I'm trying to avoid hearing about it because I haven't watched it yet.
Dylan and I kind of talked about it for a second. We thought it would be wise to kind of space out the Robin Williams movies. We don't want to have like a whole anthology, and that's kind of what it felt like. Is if we do 2, I feel like we're
we
gonna
gotta do the
get,
rest.
I was gonna say I feel like if we do 2, all of a sudden we're gonna get a slippery slope. We're gonna do like 5 or 6 of them.
Be cool.
So-
I'd like to watch Aladdin again.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one right there.
100%.
But yeah,
Any day of the week.
guys-
Aladdin's one of my favorites.
you guys
Yeah.
have anything else you want to add
Next
about
to like
this?
Mulan. Mulan's good too.
So, what was your favorite part of the movie, Sean?
I didn't ask my normal questions because we were all distracted off of things, but I don't know. My favorite part.
I thought you were gonna just like throw a curveball and say
3
Dylan-
words go.
3. Yeah, 3 words go, Dylan.
No, I didn't. I was going to, but he
Big
asked me a
scary
question
monster.
first. It's a rule that he asked first. I have to answer the question. I'm not allowed to answer questions with questions unless I'm trying to annoy Dylan on purpose, which I'm not right now. Not this time at least. Favorite part of the movie. Let's see. I'm trying to find like a spot that's pretty. I really liked the beginning scenes, like a lot of the beginning scenes. I think probably the scene that I was like, all right, out of all the things I've roasted, I got to give it to him. And that was whenever there's only, 4 left, and they were saying we're going to go in teams of 2, and then they didn't, and someone almost died. That was a really good part, because it did, like you was saying, it did feel nice. The lines didn't seem...
Oh yeah, I forgot about
one-
that little portion.
It seemed like a really solid scene in general, and like
the
the emotions were high, but it was just a well-made scene. So
If-
I think that's probably my favorite part.
There was that one part that, so I was going to say the same sort of thing. There's everything after like the main captain dies, where like Ripley kind of like is in command now, or she kind of takes command. And subsequently the his name's Ash. Is that right? I think I've said that before.
The android?
The android guy.
Yes.
Finding out that he was an android, whenever I watched the first time, I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's
then,
also one thing that's probably up there for my favorite scenes is whenever he freaking hits his head, it just freaking pops off like he's an android. That's my favorite scene, just because you're like, wait, what the frig? It really hits you as a curveball. Like, of all the things that I can roast this movie for not having curveballs, him being an android, that was very well done.
For a loop.
And then them bringing him back to life and him answering questions, that was pretty funny. I did like whenever they hit his head, though, and it goes from being a head to being a clear prop again. I was like, no, if that ain't the 80s, I don't know.
Creepy-ass smile on his
face.
face.
It's like, it went from being a head to being a freaking prop again. And, like, watching it swap from head to prop in scenes was so funny, because you'd be like, it's a head. Oh, it's Doofy again. But honestly, that was, for as much as I can roast the movie for being able to see through it, I felt like that hit me well as a curveball. Yeah. I was like, wait, I tried to just shirk it off and just like, if I have questions, I'll ask them later, but he's a robot now? Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So now for my questions, describe it in 3 words.
Hold on, wait. I want to, before you say one thing, that one conversation that Ethan was talking about before, right before I interjected, there was one part where I feel like there was really good improv that I'm not sure if that was exactly what it was or not, but it definitely felt like it was off book.
Yeah.
There's just a point where it kind of feels like petty conversation.
Oh,
where
they're just in the room trying to figure out what to do. They're in the
room and the captain has just died, basically, and they're trying to like get a plan or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Ripley's just like, old boy in the background just like rambling off, and she's like screaming. She's like, listen to me. Like, I'm just shut up for a second. And there's a point where like he kind of rambles off like, as long as we get to kill it. He's like, of course it is. That's
literally what I just described.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, keep it. And it just feels like a very, that's what he like Ethan had said. It just feels like a real conversation and not something that was like pre-planned. Yeah. But it also could just be great acting too. So I don't know. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, describe it in 3 movies.
The 3 movies?
3 movies.
3 movies.
No, 3 words.
Aliens. More.
Predator.
All right. So 3 words.
Those were the 3 words.
No, those are 3 movies.
I was gonna say
words.
Big Scary Monster.
That's Ian's, but I want 3 words.
Okay.
Big.
Make large, huge. 3 words.
Space.
Let's see. Deep, dark, maw.
Maw?
Yeah.
Mine is a Space Final Frontier. So 1 word, and you can't use the word deep.
Big.
Please do what I want. Please say the word that I want you to say right now.
Alien.
Yes! I was like, describe the alien movie in 1 word. Please say alien. Please say alien.
Extraterrestrial.
Dang it. All right. And then finally, who's your favorite character?
Xenomorph.
That's a good point.
He killed people.
I kind of like the captain guy. I didn't think he was a great captain. I just kind of liked his character.
He kind of sucked.
Yeah, he kind of sucked as a captain. I mean, he was just like, in a way though, he did. He had the best.
He had the fucking. Come on, I just work here. Attitude.
Right, he did, but also like I feel like he did have the best intentions in mind. Where he was like, "Look, man, I don't claim to be the doctor expert. He's the doctor expert. I just want to get us the hell out of here. I don't know if I have enough fuel. Let's get the hell out of here." So he did. In a way, I liked his moxie to get everybody out, but also, I don't think he was a great captain. I just kind of liked him.
No.
Before Facehugger
follow
guy.
quarantine protocols. Let the alien in.
Yeah,
like an idiot.
What a big dumb nerd face. God.
Before the Facehugger guy got all messed up, he kind of seemed pretty chill.
Yeah, I never knew his character though. He was dead.
Yeah, there's a nice little grace period that the Facehugger gives you, a little calm before the storm.
Yeah, exactly. Before he's on the table, you know, shoving spoons in his
mouth.
Mean,
it can't happen while you're asleep. You know,
Rambo is super annoying, but like he was also kind of a
Rambo.
I don't know his name, but he was
Parker.
Yeah. He had a freaking bandana and he grabbed a flamethrower like he was Rambo, so I just called him Rambo.
As long as I could kill that,
right?
You know.
He was kind of annoying, but I also kind of liked his character. But the only person I don't have a definitive like I liked this character the most as my favorite. I just knew that my least favorite character was that freaking baseball cap dude. And I'm happy he was the first one to die.
Brett.
I love that one scene where it's like, you say yep to everything. Yep. Or right. What is it?
Yeah, right.
Dude, one thing that I thought was so funny whenever was like, you were like, yep, just bathe in that mysterious liquid before he died. And I was like,
yeah, I love that.
I was like, maybe it's raining outside, Ian. He was like, they're in space now. They took off. And I was like, oh yeah, then what are you bathing in, dude? Wait a second. I was like, Ian caught that one and I didn't. Wait a second. What are you bathing in? Turns out it was the saliva of the alien that murdered him later. Good to know.
I don't know about that.
Alien
sure, yes.
attraction
Just take a big sippy of the space goop. Like, what is
Space goop.
Like, what do you? What is?
If I drink the alien, I become the alien.
Well, he's dead now, so
Nice.
He got eaten. Well, in the
Nice.
face.
I really enjoyed that movie. It was a lot of fun. I think this probably was, of all the movies we've done so far, this is one I feel like we were most passionate about, is what it feels like a little bit, you know?
I feel like it was just because I wasn't a big fan of it.
I know, exactly.
I feel like that's
But that's sometimes
also
that's
because
all you need.
I wrote my favorite line in all of my notes so far I've written is Shorthair really gonna cry this whole movie? NVM, she dead lol. Sorry, she dead LMAO.
That's good.
But she
I love
died
that.
crying.
I mean, I
And
suppose.
panicking.
Yeah, and panicking. Frozen.
To be
next
fair, that thing was pressuring you into a corner. That
yeah, but
Yeah.
your homie's got a
Trying
flamethrower
to-
and he's telling you to move and you won't move. First off, Rambo, if you were really
Yeah.
Rambo, you wouldn't even care. You'd be like, she's dead anyway, and you would have just tried to light that thing up.
Yeah.
But instead, you died too, like a dummy.
Anyways,
Either way, that's that.
this was fun. I enjoyed this. I have some new updates for everyone listening. If you want to, we have a YouTube channel now, and we will be uploading all of the episodes there as well. We won't have camera stuff happening right now, but we will have all of our audio in video format there. Just another little place to kind of put it on. So if you need to, I think we have my link tree in the description of this podcast and whatever app you're listening to it on, or in the description of the YouTube video as well.
Yeah.
And you can find us on any of our platforms there.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have to censor these, aren't we?
No.
No cursing allowed? Isn't there?
No, YouTube just won't let you monetize them, but that's fine.
Yeah. I don't worry about all that.
YouTube monetization's impossible anyway.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that
yeah,
later,
yeah,
because
that's
that doesn't really matter right now. But anyways, so if you guys are looking for another place to look for the podcast, or just, whatever.
It's hard to find, we assure you.
Exactly. Get another little catalog in a different place besides where we have it set up at now.
Heyo.
It's not on purpose, by the way. People actively don't look for us.
Oh, gosh. He's so pessimistic, guys.
Yep.
It's funny.
Yeah, no. Anyways,
Self-deprecating.
I have to
I-
make sarcastic remarks.
I appreciate your
Self-deprecating humor.
listenership. And until next time,
Dylan doesn't, though.
I love you. Please don't go.
bye-bye.